Good afternoon, friends. Today we are going to discuss one more interesting topic from the clinical examination of motor system. Previously, we have discussed different topics from the clinical examination of motor system. That is, we have discussed about muscle tone, muscle power. Then we have discussed about the muscular wasting. Then we have started discussing about the involuntary movements. In my last video, we have discussed about one important type of involuntary movement, that is the tremors. In that video, we have discussed about the classification and characteristic features of the tremors. Today, we are going to discuss about another important topic from the involuntary movements. We are going to discuss about the epilepsy. As far as your exams are concerned, if you are a student of BHMS, that is homeopathy, Ayurveda, nursing or pharmacy, this is the most important topic as far as your exams are concerned, because a long question will be asked to you in your theory exams on epilepsy. Plus the examiner will definitely ask you about the classification of epilepsy and the characteristic features of different types of epilepsy. So in this video we are going to discuss about the general classification, what is the difference between seizure and epilepsy, and what are the characteristic features of different types of seizures and epilepsies. So be attentive while watching this video and we will discuss these things in detail. So seizure and epilepsy, we are going to discuss this under two different headings. First, we are going to discuss what is the meaning of seizure, what is the characteristic feature, what is the classification of different types of seizure, and then it will be followed by discussion about epilepsy. If required, we may have to make 2 or 3 videos for this discussion of epilepsy and seizure, because this is a very wide topic, very vast topic and needs time. So we may require 2 or 3 videos, but don't worry, I will make those videos and will upload on the YouTube, so don't worry about it. So first we are going to begin with seizure. Okay, seizure. What is the meaning of seizure? Basically, seizure is a Latin word. Okay, it is made up, this word is made up from a Latin word, seize. Okay, so seizure, it's a Latin word. What is seizure? Seizure is the condition which occurs or which is brought on because of excessive electrical discharges in the brain. So remember this thing, seizures are brought on because of excessive neuronal discharges in the brain. We know our brain consists of n number of neurons. The neurons are connected with each other at the synapses, and there is presence of different neurotransmitters at this junction. So whenever there is any abnormal neuronal discharge occurs, or whenever there is any excessive neuronal discharge occurs in the brain, it will result into a characteristic manifestation which we can term as seizure. Now this seizure may also occur because of one more factor, that is, there is presence of 2 important neurotransmitters in the brain. The one is called as inhibitory neurotransmitter and the another one is excitatory neurotransmitter. So inhibitory neurotransmitter is GABA, GABA, whereas the excitatory neurotransmitter is acetylcholine. Whenever there is any imbalance occurs in between these neurotransmitters, then also it can result into seizures. Okay. So these are the basic things you have to remember about seizures. So seizures occurs because of excessive neuronal discharges in the brain. That's it. Now these neuronal discharges, excessive neuronal discharges or inhibition of these excessive neuronal discharges can manifest themselves in different types, in different forms. Say for example, in some patients, because of excessive neuronal discharges, there will be total loss of consciousness. In some patients, there will just be altered level of consciousness. In some patients, there will be presence of increase in the muscular tone. In some patients, it will be manifested in the form of jerking movements, or in some patients, it will just be manifested in the form of lack of attention, lack of concentration. So manifestations of these seizures can be different types, but the cause is just one. The cause is excessive neuronal discharges. The manifestations are going to be different. So I hope you have understood what is a seizure and what is the change, what is the pathological change occurring in the brain. Now, seizure can be single episode, it can be multiple. When these seizures occurs repeatedly, then it will be termed as epilepsy. So epilepsy is nothing but recurrent episodes of seizures. When in the brain the neuronal discharges, excessive neuronal discharges or abnormal neuronal discharges occurs recurrently and they are getting manifested in the patient, then it will be termed as epilepsy. So I hope you have got the difference between seizure and epilepsy. Epilepsy is nothing but recurrent episodes of seizures. Basically, epilepsy is a Greek term. It is originated from a Greek term epilepsia. Just like seizure, it is originated from the Latin term seize. Epilepsy is originated from the Greek term epilepsia. Now, we will discuss the classification and characteristic features of epilepsy. Later on, we will focus ourselves on the seizure. So, we have discussed what is happening in the brain and how it is getting manifested. Now, what are the causes for seizures? What cause the excessive release of the electrical impulses or excessive discharge of the electrical impulses in the brain? So, three basic causes are there. The first important cause for seizure is genetics. The second important cause for seizure disorder is the brain trauma. And the third important cause for the seizure disorder is neoplasms. Any malignancy of the brain can result into seizures. So I repeat these three causes once again. The first cause is genetics, second is brain trauma, and the third is neoplasm. Apart from that, there are multiple causes are present. Say for example, seizures can also be drug induced. So it will be termed as drug induced seizures. Seizures can also occur because of the inflammations of the brain. Seizures can also be idiopathic in some patients. Okay, but these are the three important causes. The first is genetics, the second one is trauma, and the third one is neoplasms. So because of these factors, there will be excessive neuronal discharge and seizures. Coming to the next point, that is seizures is also triggered, or seizures are also precipitated by certain factors. So those patients who are either genetically predisposed to seizures, or those patients who have a history of brain trauma or neoplasms, in such patients the seizures are also triggered by various factors. These factors are termed as triggering factors. So which are these triggering factors for seizure? The important triggering factors are first psychological stress, emotional stress. Psychological stress is the important trigger factor for seizure. Apart from this psychological stress, the second important trigger factor is lack of sleep or sleep deprivation. The third important trigger factor for seizure is alcoholism. Alcohol withdrawal can also result into seizures. Okay, so these are the three important trigger factors for seizures. First, it is the lack of sleep, emotional stress, and the third is alcoholism. In some patients, excessive noise or loud noise, or in some patients, excessive light, even hot bath can also result into seizures. Okay, so all of these are the triggering factors. Now, what is the classification of seizures? Remember that before we go in details of the classification of seizure, you have to understand one thing, that is this seizure disorder. This is a very common disorder. We can say that incidence is very common. Almost 5% of the population is suffering from seizure disorder. The manifestations of the disorder are varied, but the incidence is quite common. In fact, seizures can affect all the age groups, both the sexes, and it is common worldwide. It can occur anywhere in the world. Okay. So as far as the incidence is concerned, this is a very common disorder. In fact, in cases of seizure, we can see treatment gaps also. Now, what is a treatment gaps? Treatment gap is that thing where a person is in need of the treatment, but he is not receiving the treatment. Okay, so say for example, 100 patients are in need of the anti-epileptic treatment, and amongst those 100 patients, only 50 are receiving the treatment. So this 50, this gap between the persons who need the treatment and who receive the treatment, this is called as treatment gap. So this treatment gap is very wide in the developing countries as compared to the developed countries. The second important thing, characteristic feature of this seizure is, many of the time the bystanders or the onlookers or the relatives don't understand that this patient is having seizure, but the patient himself realizes that I am going to get an attack of seizure. This is the first thing which can occur in seizure. The bystanders do not come to know that this is a seizure disorder, that patient is suffering from seizure disorder, because the manifestations are not so severe. But the patient can tell that I am going to get a seizure. And the second case is where the patient do not realizes that this is a seizure, but the bystanders gets afraid because of that particular incidence happening with that person. So we are going to discuss all these things in detail later on, a short while. So this is the another important thing about seizure. Sometimes the patient realizes, the bystanders do not realize. Sometimes the bystanders realizes, the patient do not realizes that this is a seizure. Now, as far as the common population is concerned, as far as the lay peoples are concerned, seizures can also be termed as convulsions, fits, or non-medicals can also call it as mirgi. So, another name for seizure disorder is fit, convulsion and mirgi. So, coming to our classification of seizure, seizure can be classified on the basis of the location in the brain in which there is presence of excessive abnormal discharges. Area of the brain in which there is occurrence of excessive discharges. If suppose this area is localized, say for any area of the brain, only in that area the discharges are occurring, that type of seizure will be termed as partial seizure, local seizure or focal seizure. We all know that the cerebral cortex has 4 lobes, frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal. If suppose any one lobe is affected, if only in that lobe the impulses are getting generated, then it will be termed as local seizure or focal seizure or partial seizure. But if both the cerebral hemispheres are affected, both the cerebral hemispheres are affected, and in those hemispheres there is generation of the impulses, then it will be termed as generalized seizures. So on the basis of area, seizures are classified into 2 types, partial seizure and generalized seizures. So in this case there will be generation of impulses, like I have shown in this image. Frontal lobe, temporal lobe, occipital lobe is affected, so this is partial seizure. The area can be localized. Here also I have seen in the cross section, this is the area where the electrical impulses are getting generated. So if this is the case, this is partial seizure. Now on the basis of clinical presentation, on the basis of manifestation, what is happening because of these excessive generations, the partial seizures are again classified into 2 types: simple partial seizures, complex partial seizures. So what is a simple partial seizure? In case of simple partial seizure, the area is localized, but in case of simple partial seizure, the person who is having this type of seizure, in them during the attack, the consciousness is preserved. The person do not falls unconscious, or not even there is alteration of the consciousness. The consciousness is preserved, and other manifestations can be seen. So simple partial seizures, consciousness is preserved. Reverse occurs with the complex partial seizures. In case of complex partial seizures, the consciousness is altered. The person do not gets unconscious. There is just alteration in the level of consciousness. So simple and complex partial seizures. Similarly, generalized seizures are also classified into different types. First is primary generalized seizures, secondary generalized seizers, convulsive generalized seizers, and non-convulsive generalized seizers. Now, what is the meaning of primary, secondary, convulsive, non-convulsive generalized seizures? Secondary generalized seizures are those seizures which are preceded by complex partial seizures. Say for example, complex partial seizures do not stop abruptly, do not stop suddenly. It will result into secondary generalized seizures. But in case of primary generalized seizures, there is absence of both of these types. Simple as well as complex partial seizures are absent. There is directly generation of impulses in both the hemispheres, and then these primary generalized seizures will occur. Secondary, they will be preceded by partial seizures. Coming to convulsive seizures, in convulsive seizures you can get the typical clinical features of seizures like the jerky movements, increase in spasm, making noises, etc. We will discuss this type in detail. And non-convulsive seizures, the name itself suggests non-convulsive seizures, there will be absence of the typical manifestations. So that is why these non-convulsive seizures are also termed as absence seizures. Absence seizures, the typical characteristic manifestations are absent. I hope you have understood the definition, the etiology, the triggering factors, and classification of seizures. The remaining things, that is the characteristic features of the partial and generalized seizures, we will discuss in the next video. Thank you.